Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today's episode is going to be my long-awaited end of year inventory for 2023. So if you want to go through my makeup collection with me, see how many things I have in each category and where my starting point is going to be for my makeup collection going into 2024, well then stay right there, sit tight, we're gonna jump right into it. My name is Marie and I am a beautiful mess. Here on my channel, I like to do a lot of project panning content, eyeshadow content, and really any other kind of makeup content that I can think of. So sit back, relax, and come on a magical makeup journey with me. So like I said, this is my end of year 2023 makeup inventory. This is also going to be my starting point for my makeup collection going into 2024. This is the first time that I've ever done anything like this, but I thought that I should have this inventory in the books if I want to see if my low buy for the year is actually working. So I am going to show you via picture form everything in my makeup collection. And I'm a little bit embarrassed by it. A little bit of backstory. I started my YouTube channel in, I believe, either July or August of 2022. That's when I really started to get into makeup. So it was at that point up through the present now that I have accumulated all of these items. It's a lot. It's really a lot. And it wasn't until I did this inventory and I took the time to put everything in a spreadsheet, to take pictures of everything, that I realized how much makeup I actually have. And it's really been eye-opening and hopefully will help me stick to my low buy in the form of my beauty budget series that I have on the channel. At the end of the year, we're gonna see if I was able to pare down my makeup collection, at least a little bit. I am gonna do a 6-month check-in as well at the end of June. So that's where we're at. Without further ado, let's get into it. So my first category is backups, and these are basically duplicate items that I have in my collection that I felt I needed to have as a backup. Now, this was way back when I started getting into makeup, so when I found something that really worked for me, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have a backup. Little did I know how long it would take me to work my way through the first item that's in my inventory, let alone the backup. This is something that I don't tend to do anymore, but if I happen to get like a duplicate item as like a free gift with purchase, it also goes into this category as well. So I'm gonna pop pictures up onto the screen that I have taken for you. And in this category, I have 14 items. Not too bad, but I would really like to eliminate this category altogether. And maybe that's not a possibility. Maybe I will always have a duplicate of something, but I really want to get this number down as low as I possibly can. And that is going to be a priority for me in 2024. This next category I have split into 3 different parts. And I'm embarrassed by this category. I cannot believe I have this many items in this category. And it's blush. It's blush. I'm a blush whore. I love it. My face eats it. And I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite things about makeup. I have split it into cream blush, liquid blush, and powder blush. So for cream blushes, I have 13 cream blushes. Now, again, I did purchase a lot of these before I really knew how long it would take to use makeup, before I started doing project panning, and before I realized that cream blush can dry up on you. Oh my goodness. So this is definitely a category I would like to pare down as well. Now, of course, I had no idea how long it would actually take to use up these blushes. So am I going to be able to get any out of this category this year? I don't think so, but I'm going to have fun trying. 13 cream blushes is just way too many. The next category for blush is liquid, and I have far fewer items in this category. I think it's a good thing because of the fact that liquid blush, you need so little to use, but I have really found that I love liquid blush. I love to pair it with a powder blush on top because, like I said, my face eats blush. I don't know what it is about it, but it just eats it. I don't know where it goes. It just goes away. But when I pair a liquid blush with a powder blush on top, it seems to stay longer throughout the day. So I only have 3 in this category. I think that's a pretty good number. I'd like to stay around there. I also realized that liquid blushes take an extremely long time to go through. And I have no idea if they go bad. I would assume just like cream blushes, they will go bad eventually. So I'm not going to be buying any more blush of any kind. I say that now, but I know me. It's embarrassing. It's too many blushes. It's too many blushes. But I like the number 3. If we can pare it down a little bit, that would be fine because I only purchased 1. The other 2, one was a free gift with purchase. The NYX one was a free gift with purchase. And the ColourPop one came in a mystery box. So the only one I actually bought was the Rare Beauty, and it is a mini. So I feel like I'm actually doing pretty okay in this category. The last blush category is, of course, powder blushes. And it's a good thing powder doesn't go bad very fast because I have 37 in this category. 37 powder blushes. What in the world was I thinking when I purchased all of these? And the majority of them are some shade of pink. Now, there are some that I absolutely love and I'm glad that I have in my collection. I have a purple blush, I have an orange blush, I have a mauve blush, I have a couple of unique blushes that I absolutely love. And the rest of them are all different versions of pink. Although I do love my red blush as well. I love to wear red in the wintertime to give that coming in out of the cold look. But 37, Marie? What are you doing? That's just too many. That's just too many. Too many. So I'd like to say I want to put myself on a blush no buy, but I know myself better than that. I do, especially knowing what I've already bought this month. I need to focus in on using the blushes that I have and not overspend in this category. We'll see where I land at the 6-month mark. The next category I have is for bronzers, and I have split this into cream bronzers and powder bronzers. For cream bronzers, I only have 6. It's a lot better than the blushes. But again, I have no idea when these will dry up. I have no idea if they will start to grow mold. I have no idea how long these are going to take to use. Now, I do have some shades for the winter and some shades for the summer, so I can kind of justify it. I don't think I'm doing too bad in the cream bronzer category, especially seeing as I layer my bronzer like I do my blush, because again, powder products and cheek products, they just disappear on my face. So I do pair a cream bronzer and then put a powder bronzer on top. And that seems to help the longevity, but I don't know. Is 6 too many? I think that's a good number. I really think that's a good number, but there's so many I want to try. Bronzer's almost as bad as blushes for me, but rein it in, Marie, rein it in. For powder bronzer, there's more than 6. But it's not as bad as blush, let me tell you. So for powder bronzers, I do have 13 in my collection. And again, I do have some that are varying shades. Some I will use in winter, some I will use in summer. But I think 13 is just too many. I think it's too many. I would like to pare it down in this category as well. I do think 13 is too many. I think I'd like to pare it down to 5 eventually. I think that's a good number. Again, we'll see how long it takes me, because last year was the first year I actually project panned a powder bronzer. And it takes an incredibly long time, I've come to find. So these 13 bronzers are gonna be with me for quite a while. The next category is for brows. And if it goes in the brows at all, whether it is a brow pencil or a brow gel, I did put it into this category. I am blessed. I am Italian. I have hair everywhere, as you can see, and I have a lot of natural brows. So I don't tend to use the markers to make the hair-like strokes because I have hair there. I just like to fill them in, darken them up, cover the grays in my brows. And I like to do that with a pencil. So I do have a couple of pencil products. I found through project panning last year that I actually love powders in my brows as long as it's the right shade. So I don't have any brow powders per se, but I have lots of eyeshadow. So possibly when I use up the pencils, I might not run out and repurchase them right away, and see if I can find a shade in my eyeshadow collection that will work for it instead. Possibly something in my Pan That palette this year. The brow gels that I have, I think it's too many because I think they'll go bad before I can get to them and finish them. I'm trying to be good and not open them all up at the same time, but my mindset was, hey, I'm new to makeup. I want to try this, and I want to try this, and I want to try this. And I need to get into the mindset of buy one, because you only need one brow gel, Marie. One brow gel at a time. Use it up. If you liked it, repurchase it. If you want to try something else, try something else. But know that you will be stuck with that product for the long haul. The next category I have for you is color correctors. And I have 9. I have 9 of them in my collection, which 6 of them are all in one palette. So that's not terrible. One of them I actually use as concealer quite a lot because when I'm dry underneath my eyes, it's the only thing that seems to work well for me. I have my color corrector palette in a project pan right now to see if it's actually necessary for me and my makeup needs to have a palette like that in my collection. So possibly this number will go down by the end of the year, either through use or just not repurchasing when I use something up. But I did buy like a yellow color corrector for the very first video that I ever did, which if you have never seen it, I'll put it up in the cards if you want to catch it. It was my very first video ever. It's super cute. I showed you guys how I used to do my makeup back in the day, and have never touched that color corrector that I bought to show you guys ever again after that. So I need to use that up and not repurchase it again. So I anticipate hopefully that this category will grow smaller by the end of the year, that all of these categories will grow smaller by the end of the year. It's the whole point of doing this, right? See where you start, and then at the end of the year, we'll see where we end and see if it's working for me. This next category I am very embarrassed by. It is concealers, and I have 19 of them. 19 concealers, and they're all open too, because I was on a concealer journey. I actually still am. So I bought concealer to see if it would work. I used it, didn't work. Didn't use it for anything else, didn't try to make it work, and just moved on to the next thing. So now they're all sitting open in my collection. I need to either find a way to make concealer work for me once and for all, go through them, see which one works the best for me, use that up as concealer, and really work on getting this number down, because this is just embarrassing. I need to get into the mindset of, okay, if this one's not working for me, go return it, Marie, or make it work in a different way, or try to find a way to make it work, because this is just wasteful. And that is something that I don't want to be. I have come to find through project panning last year that I really want to use the stuff that's in my collection and not let it go to waste. And if I can't use it and I don't want to return it because I don't want to be wasteful that way, to find a way to repurpose it. So I'm going to be on a concealer journey again this year, and it's not going to be purchasing any concealers. It is going to be going through the concealers that I do have and finding out what actually works and what doesn't, and repurposing what doesn't to do something else and move them out of my collection because 19 is too many. Another category that I am embarrassed by is eyeliners. I have 29 of them. 29 eyeliners. Now, I didn't separate these out into liquid or pencil or gel. I just lumped them all into one category of eyeliners. And I could understand if they were all different colors, but they're not. The majority of them are black. And I have a reason for it. I do. I really do. I was trying to find a pencil eyeliner that would stay put for me because I have such a hard time with pencil. My favorite eyeliner of all time is the NYX Epic Ink Liner. It is the brush tip applicator that you dip in and put it on your eyes that way. It's messy as all get out though, and I get it on my lashes, and it takes a long time to finesse it. But once it's set, it is there for days if you're into that. It is by far my favorite, but on those days where I just want to swipe and go, I was looking for a black pencil eyeliner that would do that for me. Found the one that I really like, but now I have to make my way through the rest of them. So again, this is too many to have in this category. So I'm going to be working on paring this down in my collection. And if one of my staples gets used up, I can repurchase that, but no more buying and trying before you've used up what you already have, Marie. The next category is eye primers, and I have 5. That's not a crazy amount, but I think that's too many because, again, same mindset. I am trying to find one that I like instead of using concealer, but maybe those concealers that don't really work for my under eyes can be used as eye primers. There's always going to be the NYX glitter glue in my collection, but there is no reason why I need to have an Urban Decay eyeshadow primer and, the Too Faced Shadow Assurance eyeshadow primer and the MAC Paint Pot that people use for eyeshadow primer all at the same time. It's just not necessary. I very much need to get myself into the mindset of try one. If it works, use it. If it doesn't, bring it back and try something else. Stop buying and hoarding these items. Now, something like the NYX glitter glue, that has a specific purpose. Hold the glitter on your eyes. But regular eyeshadow primer, there is no need for me to have multiples at the same time. So that is something that is a goal for me, that by the end of this year, this number comes down. And I have 2. I want to have 2. A regular eyeshadow primer and NYX glitter glue in my collection. And that's it. No more. The next category is one that I don't think needs to be in my collection at all. And that is eyeshadow liquid toppers. Now, again, just getting into makeup, I was trying everything that I could get my hands on to see what I liked. Well, this is a category I don't like. So I need to make my way through these and get them out of my collection. I have 4 liquid eyeshadow toppers, which is not crazy, but I have come to find that when it comes to an eyeshadow topper, a sparkly eyeshadow is what my jam is, and a liquid one, it's just not necessary for me. So I would like to use these up and get this category out of my collection. Do I think I'm going to do that this year? Probably not, but I'm gonna give it the old college try and see how far I get. Maybe I can use one up by the end of the year. The The next category is my largest category in my collection, and that's eyeshadow palettes. I have a very soft spot in my heart for eyeshadow palettes, and it shows because I have 89 of them. Now, when I do my No Pan Left Behind project, I tell you that I have 85 palettes. And there's actually one that I didn't include in the pictures because I actually forgot to, because it's a Natasha Denona 3-pan, and then I have 2 single Natasha Denona shades, and I count them all as 1 5-pan, and that's part of my eyeshadow palette collection. But I forgot to take the pictures of it. So I do apologize for that. These pictures are as accurate as they can be. Please forgive me if it's not 100% perfect, but this took me a long time to put together. So it's as good as it's gonna get. But when it comes to eyeshadow palettes, you might see in the pictures, there's a couple that are Jeffree Star palettes that I got as gifts. And I don't include that brand in my No Pan Left Behind series because I know there's a lot of controversy behind the brand, and it's just something that I don't want to put on my channel, but they are in my collection. I also have a 2-pan Maybelline eyeshadow palette, and then of course I think there's a couple other ones that I don't include in there. I don't remember why. I'll have to reevaluate that, but I do. I have 89 eyeshadow palettes. That's probably too many, but that's the love of my makeup obsession, is eyeshadow palettes. And if I can pare down everything else in all my other categories so that I can have more eyeshadow palettes, damn it, I'm gonna do it, because that's where my love is. And if there is a color story that speaks to me, I'm gonna be asking myself, do I already have this in my collection? Can I dupe it with something else that I already have in my collection? Will you get good use out of it? And if I can answer yes to all 3 of those questions, then I'm gonna get it for myself. Also, when I tend to accumulate $125 worth of points at Ulta, I tend to spend them on eyeshadow palettes because I think that's the most bang for my buck. And I probably will continue to do so. I really got into indie eyeshadows last year, and there's a lot of brands that I wanna try, and I'm not sorry for it. I'm not. I would not like to see my collection get up over 100. There has been some information that I have gathered about myself, about what I like and what I don't. And that will help me make informed purchases in the future so that there's not eye palettes that will go neglected, because that is something I don't want to have happen. The next category is eyeshadow singles. And I only have 9 in my collection. Now, a lot of these are just glittery toppers that I very much like. And there's a couple single shades that I count. I do also have a group of 4 single shades from Lethal Cosmetics, but the color story goes so well together that I count them as one of my palettes. But I do not have a lot of special single shades. Even though that is a rabbit hole I could probably lose myself down, I don't know if I want to. Like, I'm curious about Cleona, and I'm curious about Terra Moons, just like I was curious about Lethal Cosmetics eyeshadows. But singles, I don't know if I want to go down that rabbit hole. Maybe as I continue to use makeup and get more information about what I like and what I don't, maybe this will grow, but I don't think I want my single shadows to grow past 25. Now, I know there are other people out there that have hundreds of single shadows. I don't want that to be me. I want single shadows, if I'm gonna have them in my collection, to be powder, and I want them to be very curated and in my collection for a specific purpose. Now, there are a couple of colors that are just regular colors that I didn't have in my eyeshadow palette collection when I purchased them. And I'm actually sad that I have them, because now I do have those colors in my eyeshadow palette collection. Just wait. If you want a matte single shade, just wait. You'll end up getting one in a palette for certain. This next category is a category I very much don't like, and that's eyeshadow sticks. I have come to find I very much like to take my time in the morning. I like to work with a single palette. Very rarely do I mix unless it's my Pan Those palettes that I have paired together, or a Pan That palette with my Project Level Up palette, for instance. But it's why I don't like Pan Those eyeshadows Project Pan, because I don't like to work out of multiple different palettes like that. I like to work with one palette, one color story, and see what I can do with it. And eyeshadow sticks robs me of that creativity. Now, I have come to find a use for them recently, thanks to another creator who advised me to use them as eyeliner instead. And that's how I'm gonna be using them up, is in that way. But I have enough eyeliners as well. I don't need shadow sticks as eyeliners. So once these are gone, I don't foresee me repurchasing shadow sticks, and this is possibly a category that can be eliminated out of my collection once I get my use on them. The next category, I'm just astounded that I have this many in my collection. The next category is foundations, and I have 18 foundations in my collection. Now, I'm not counting powder foundation because I don't typically wear powder foundation as foundation. I usually typically wear powder foundation as setting powder. So if I have any powder foundations, which I do, I count them in my pressed powder category. So these are all liquid foundations that we are talking about. And 18 is too many. Now, again, I was just getting into makeup. I was trying to find what worked for me and just buying everything all at once. And that is something I need to stop doing. I think the most I would like to have in my collection at one time is 10. And I think that's pressing it, to be honest with you. But I want them to be highly curated, to have them for specific needs. But this buying multiple foundations to find a good everyday foundation all at the same time, I need to stop doing that. And what was happening is I would see stuff on sale and I'd be like, oh, I want to try that. And I'd buy it, not realizing how much I already had. This is something that I would like to pare down to 10 or under. I don't think that's going to happen in 1 year. It's going to take me a long time to get there. But that's one thing that I'm very happy that Project Panning has taught me, is that it's going to take a while. So be mindful about what you purchase. The next category is highlighter. And I don't love highlighter as much as I love blush and bronzer, but I do love it. I do have to say. So this is split into 3 subcategories: cream, liquid, and powder. So for cream highlighters, I have 2 in my collection. I don't think that's a bad thing. Frankly, all of last year I worked on a cream highlighter and I was using it as if it was a powder. And I made the realization just a couple weeks ago that I should be layering my cream/liquid highlighters with my powder highlighters as well. Because if my face eats my complexion product, it's eating my highlighter too. And to get the most longevity out of my products, I need to be pairing a cream or liquid highlighter with a powder one. This will help me get some use on my powder highlighters. Because while I was working on that one highlighter last year, I neglected everything else. And I can't be doing that, which is why I introduced my Project 10 uses Project Pan this year. 2, I think, is a good number, and when I use one up, I'll allow myself to buy another. I don't want to get past 5 in this category. The next category is liquid highlighters, and I have 1 in my collection, and I think that is a good number to have. When I use this one up, I might try a different liquid highlighter, but it has a specific purpose. I don't use it every day, but when I do, I know when I'm going to be using it and for what purpose. And that's the way I think I want my majority of my collection to be. And I had to go crazy to get to this point, but I'm glad I'm at this point right now. Now the embarrassing number of powder highlighters. It's 19. 19! I have 19 powder highlighters in my collection. You use so little of highlighter. How am I gonna get through 19 powder highlighters? What was I thinking? I was thinking, oh, it's pretty and it's sparkly and I loves it. I need to pare this down to no more than 7. They can be different colors, that's fine, but they all need to have a purpose in my collection. 19 is just too many, especially when a lot of them are very similar to one another. This is something that's gonna take me years to work on, but I'll get them down and hopefully not buy too many more. No, Marie, don't buy more. Use what you have. The next category is lips, and I have a lot of different subcategories for this. And I am so embarrassed because if you put them all together, I have more lip products than I do eyeshadow palettes. That's insane because I have 2 lips. I have 2 lips. But in this past year, I've learned what I like and learned what I don't, and that's gonna help me moving forward. So let's start at the top, work our way down. The first subcategory is lip balms. I love lip balms. When I am at home and it's a no makeup day, I put lip balms on all the time. I don't usually go for a gloss if I'm just sitting around the house. I go for a balm. I have 15 of them in my collection. 15 is way too many. Way too many. And some of them are older and things that I would not repurchase again if you paid me, because I have found the good lip balms now. But I need to make my way through these lip balms. It's a good thing that I go through lip balms quickly, but I need to stop purchasing lip balms until I get this pared down. I'd like to have no more than 5 in this category at a time. The next subcategory is lip gloss. I'm embarrassed by this number because no one person needs 41 lip glosses in their collection. Again, got into makeup, was going crazy. I wanted to try this formula and this formula. Oh, I really like this formula. Let me get a ton of shades. It's too much. It's too much. And it's a good thing I love lip products because it's going to take me a long time to make my way through it. And hopefully I can do it before they go bad. Need to stop buying lip products altogether. Altogether, because I don't need another lip product for 5 years probably. Oh, what am I doing? What was I thinking? The next category is lip liner, and this one is a lot less, but I still think it's too many, and it's 12. I have 12 lip liners in my collection. Now, it wasn't until a couple of months ago that I realized what lip liners were for. Some of these I did inherit from my daughter. Some of them I absolutely went out and purchased on my own. Now that I have come to see the value of lip liners, I need to have a more curated collection of them. Yes, I need a maroon. Yes, I need a brown. Yes, I need an orangey nude and a pinky nude and a red one. And that's probably it at one time. If I want to try different formulas, use up what I have already first, and then go try something new. There's no way that I can let lip liners get as out of hand as eyeliners are, because it's just too much. 12, I think, is too much. We'll see what I think at the 6-month mark as I make my way through some of them. Maybe my mind will change that maybe 15 is a good number depending upon the shades, but there's no reason why I should have any lip liners that are the same colors. Just no reason for it. The next category is lip masks, and I'm actually happy with this number. I have 5. I have 5 lip masks. Now, I did buy the Laneige lip mask set, not this past Christmas, the Christmas before, and I still have 3 of those in my collection. They're small, and I was thankful for that because then I could try the different flavors that I liked. But have you ever seen the size of the big one? There's no reason why I need to have more than one unless it's a small set like that for me to try flavors on. But there's absolutely no reason why I need to have more than one at a time in my collection. And that is going to be my goal, to pare this down to 1. Because I do have to say, I love to put a lip mask on right before I go to bed. It keeps my lips nice and plump. And since I've been doing that, I haven't had chapped lips all winter. And that's one of the things I usually suffer from. So I'm going to keep using it, but it doesn't mean I need to keep stockpiling it. Work my way down to 1, Marie, 1. This next subcategory is lip oils. And I was actually surprised that this number wasn't more, because I've come to find I love lip oils. I think I actually love them as much as I love lip glosses, but I only have 7 of them in my collection. And I think that's not a bad number. I think right around 10 and under is a good number. I would like to have 10 and under glosses, 10 and under oils, and less than 10 lipsticks, because I'm not a huge lipstick person, I've come to find. I like my gloss, I like my oil, and that's what I like to wear on a day-to-day. And every once in a while, I like to wear a lipstick, but I don't need as many as I have, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. The next category is lip plumpers. I like a lip plumper. I actually don't mind the pain of the Too Faced lip injection. Back in the day, I actually used to use the Doo-Wop Lip Venom. That's a painful lip plumper. I don't need to have more than 1 at a time. Now, coming to realize that there's a lot of products in my collection that claim that they are a lip plumper. Like, I have a couple of the Makeup by Mariel lip plumps. I have a Tarte Maracuja Juicy lip plump. I have a Too Faced lip injection. For me, I don't think I need more than 1 at a time, and I'd like to pare this down to 1 in my collection at a time. The next subcategory is lip stains, and I have 2 in my collection. Now, I would actually like to grow this number a little bit. The 2 that I have in my collection were actually the first PR that I ever got. I'm not entirely impressed with them, but I will use those 2 lip stains up before I go and try and purchase more. I think I like the idea of a lip stain, to put it on, to put something else over it, and then when that wears away, to have a different color there than my natural lip color, because my natural lip color is boring. I'm gonna learn my lesson from the other categories that I ended up having a ton of items in, and I will use up what I have, and then I will go try something new. So good job, me, for only having 2 lip stains in my collection. This next category is embarrassing, and it's lipsticks. I don't like lipstick that much. It's something that I like to wear on special occasions, every once in a while. I like to have a red, I like to have a really dark brown, I like to have a purple. There's no reason why I need to have 26 different lipsticks in my collection, especially seeing as I'm very happy with a lip liner and a gloss on my lips for day to day. I don't need the lipsticks, not that many of them. No. So I'm going to be working my way through my lipstick collection. Not going to be buying anything else until this gets pared down to below 10, because it's just too many. Because this is something that will go bad on me, and I'm surprised none of them have gone bad so far. So I need to work my way through this category and stop buying them altogether until it is pared down. And the last subcategory for lips is liquid lipsticks. And the number I have is not crazy, but I think it's too many for me, seeing as I'm not even a huge fan of liquid lipsticks. I like the idea of them. The idea of putting them on and they will stay put all day long. I need to come to the realization that there is no lip product that I will not eat off of my lips, and that reapplying is just the reality of life. But to have 13 liquid lipsticks, of which I rarely wear, is too many. It's just too many. Have I learned what formulas I really like? Absolutely yes. But that means I need to have 1 or 2 shades in that formula, and that's it, because I really don't wear this category often enough to warrant 13. So I would very much like to pare this down. The next category is mascara, and is split into 2 subcategories: open and unopened. So I have 16 open mascaras at the moment. I know, don't yell at me. I didn't know that you should get rid of your mascaras after 6 months. Some people even do it after 3. So stupid me opened a whole bunch of mascaras at one time. I want to try the formulas. I want to see if I like them, but I have come to the realization that I may need to get rid of a lot of them before I get that chance. And I have learned my lesson. I will not have more than 3 mascaras open at a time going forward, but I need to quickly make my way through these 16 mascaras before they go bad, before they irritate my eyes, and before they dry up, because that's just crazy. Now, what I have been doing is I have been focusing on just a couple few to get them done, because a lot of them I used once and then didn't go back and revisit it again, and then opened more because I didn't know better. But now I do know better, and that will not happen again. But I'm hoping that because I only used it a couple of times, that it's going to be fine. But if they start to irritate my eyes, they're going in the trash. But I'm gonna focus on just a couple few at a time, and maybe I can make my way through them and they'll be okay. The other mascara category is unopened, and I have 7 of those in my collection. Now, I think that is too many as well. I would like to obliterate this category because I need to have the mindset of use what you have, and when you use it up, go repurchase either what you love or try something new if you want to try something new. It'll be there when it's time to go purchase mascara. You don't need to hoard it. You don't need to stockpile it. The next category is powder, and this is split into loose and pressed. In the loose powder category, I have 11. I think I'm happy that powder is not gonna go bad, but 11 loose powders at one time, it's too many. And again, it's the same thing that I've been saying the whole video, is I was new to makeup and I wanted to try this, and I wanted to try this, and I wanted to try this, and I just went crazy. And I have no idea what my thoughts are on these. So my plan is to make my way through all of my stuff this year, get my thoughts, see what I like, see what I don't, and become a more informed consumer, because this is just nuts. Pressed powder, it's a little bit more, not by much, but it's still too many. I have 13 pressed powders in my collection. And again, it's the same thing. I'm not gonna be a broken record, but if there's one lesson that I have learned from this, it is use what you have. And when you've used it up or found that you can't use it because it doesn't work for you and you've returned it, then you can go try something else. But it's too much. Stop being too much, Marie. The next category is primers. Same thing with this. Thankfully, a lot of them are sample sizes. So I'm hoping I can make my way through, but I have 19 of them. That is too many. Now, I have found what I love to use in the summer, and that one's actually not in my collection at the moment, because guess what? It's not summer. I have learned a little bit. I have. I just need to correct the mistakes and make my way through what I have, because it's just too much. And the last category is setting sprays. And I think I have learned my lesson, because I have 1 setting spray in my collection. Last year, I was sitting at like 5, and I use setting spray every day that I do my makeup. I think I've actually learned. Try 1, use it. When you need setting spray, repurchase 1 of something else. And by doing this inventory, I think I have learned that lesson. Now I just have to correct it. But that makes my grand total for my makeup collection a whopping 501 products. I have no idea where my numbers will be at the end of this year, but that was one of the whole points of doing this inventory, was to see where I'm sitting at. I'll do a check-in at the end of June, and then I will do another one at the end of 2024. For my beauty budget, I have decided that I am giving myself a 20-point bank boost at the beginning of the year, and then any other points that I earn is for every 2 makeup items that I use up, it gets me 1 point. I'm gonna see if that's gonna work. Will I gain more products in my collection, or will I actually be paring down my collection like I want to? The answers to these questions will come at the end of this year. But that's everything that I have for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. You know I always love when you do. Don't forget, if you like what you see, to hit that like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. It lets YouTube know that you like my content and that other people with the same interests as you will like my content too. If you have a end of year makeup inventory video, let me know in the comments down below, because I would like to compare and contrast, because I think what I have is a lot. I think compared to beauty influencers that review makeup for a living, it's not anything compared to what they have, but for the average makeup consumer, I think it's a lot. And I'd love to compare and contrast. So if you've done one, let me know in the comments down below. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye, everybody.